For over 30 years, we've been serving delicious food to excellent people. Bryce Lantern takes pride in authenticity, serving fresh, homemade food to please any member of the family. Our food is always prepared daily. Whether you come in with friends or family, you'll appreciate that fresh is better.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather at noon.
Well, good Monday afternoon. Taylor Plott here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. A gorgeous day is in store for us on this Monday. Late tonight, though, we might have a few showers and even a few rumbles of thunder move through as a cold front tracks on in. But then for the rest of the week, our forecast is really looking fantastic. Let's go ahead and take a look outside from our Arctic Air Skycam network. We're seeing a few clouds out there, but still abundant sunshine. That's going to allow us to warm up very nicely, and it's actually going to be a very warm day out there. Temperatures getting up into the middle 80s for most places. Can't even rule out some places flirting with the upper 80s, specifically the Shoals, maybe even the Huntsville metro area as well. So a very warm, kind of like a mid to late May type of day is what we're expecting across the area today. So again, a few clouds out there. They will kind of increase a little bit throughout the day as we have this cold front that you see right here starting to move ever so closer to our area. There's not a lot of moisture out ahead of this, so that's why we're not really seeing that bigger rain or storm chances with this front. But we will have some scattered showers late tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Let's walk through it with your futurecast here. Again, very nice day. These temperatures might be underdone just a tad, but still getting into those middle 80s for the most part. Here come those showers, and again, maybe some embedded rumbles of thunder. There's a little bit of instability in place where there might be a lightning strike or two with these, but I'm not expecting, a big time storm to roll on through that has just dozens and dozens of lightning strikes. That's not what we're seeing with this activity at 8 p.m. tonight. By 11 p.m. close to midnight, seeing those scattered showers move on through across the area. Temperatures dropping behind this front, 68 in Decatur, but behind it it's 59 degrees up in the Hohenwald area. And again, that continues to track on in. Maybe some stronger activity off to our east during the early overnight hours. This is 1 o'clock in the morning, but by this time, most of our rain chances are going to be over with. Maybe a quick burst on that back side right here as we finally have the cold air or cooler air starting to filter on in. 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, temperatures in the 40s and 50s with a northwesterly wind coming at us at about 10 to 15 miles per hour tomorrow morning. So it will be a little bit on the breezier side tomorrow, but we're still going to be warming up pretty nicely on the cooler side, but it's not going to be as warm as we're seeing today across the area. Temperatures, your highs today, 84 in Pulaski, 85 in Columbia and Mount Pleasant, 85 in the Shoals, 84 in Rogersville, and 83 degrees here in the Lawrenceburg area. Tonight we'll drop down into the upper 40s and lower 50s. I think most of us generally stay in the lower 50s tonight, 52 in Lawrenceburg and Pulaski, 55 in Athens, and 54 degrees in Rogersville. And there's your chances, your rain and storm chances. Again, they're on the lower end of things, around 30% during the early overnight hours. Allergy-wise, is going to be one of those weeks that you're going to just continually need that allergy medication. This is your forecast by the Tennessee Valley Allergy Services. Today, getting up to the extreme category. A little less tomorrow, thanks to that little bit of rain that we could be seeing and those winds that are not going to be too terribly strong out there, but is going to give us kind of this brush of some fresher air moving in from the north. So that should kind of limit the overall extent of the pollen count once you get into Tuesday. Wednesday, it's back up to the extreme. And then on Thursday, we're going to have another front that tries to sneak its way in here. So that might drop the pollen count down just a little bit more, but still on that higher end of things is what we're expecting for your allergy chances. Rain chances a lot different than what we were seeing last week, as we thought that maybe Thursday would be a day we have some rain and storms move on through. That looks pretty dry. Only a small 10% chance with that next front coming on through. Our best chance is going to be what we're dealing with tonight. And again, we're basically looking at 0 or generally below 10% chances of rain once you go beyond Thursday and into the weekend. But our next chance of rain will be creeping on in. Looks like Sunday-ish into Monday right now. The time frame's a little iffy as the model guidance tries to understand what type of pattern we're getting into. This is not a mid-April type of pattern. We're getting more into like mid-May is what we're seeing here. This is more early summer-like for us. By Friday at 3 p.m. We got a cold front situated off to our north. High pressure is still situated off to our east, so we're still getting that southerly flow of moisture being dragged on in here from the south. By about Saturday evening, that cold front starts to kind of wash out and become a stalled frontal boundary as another wave off the Pacific coast starts to kind of creep on in, and that should start to get an area of low pressure developing over here. Snow showers still ongoing across the higher terrain of the Rockies, so that's where your colder air, you see right over there with that freezing line, that's where it's going to be staying for the next several days and probably for the foreseeable future. I don't really think a lot of this cold air will start to make its way back into the area. I think we're pretty much done where the frost and freezes across the area. But again, stationary boundary starting to drape across parts of the plains, and that will form into an area of low pressure right here, and that should give some storm potential, maybe even some severe weather off to our west, as you have that warm front generally right along that I-70 corridor here from St. Louis over to Kansas City. Warm moist air coming in from the Gulf, and that should spell some stormy weather out there for the plains. But this starts to creep a little bit further into our area. That cold front starts to wash out as it gets ever so close to our area, but there should be some showers and storms that creep on in here during the day on Monday, at least according to the GFS model guidance here. Some of those, I don't really think they're going to be overly strong or severe. I think what we'll be dealing with more is just kind of a weakening area or line of showers and storms that was along the cold front that kind of raced out ahead of it. But again, that's our next best chance of rain. And like I mentioned, all the colder air is still situated off to our west, and that's not going to be creeping into our area anytime soon. This is your Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook for that 8 to 14 day time frame. So we're getting to the latter part of April, and we're firmly situated here in that kind of upper end of the above average category here. So what we can expect with this is generally highs in the 80s. I don't think we're getting close to like 90 or mid 90s. I think this is more maybe mid to upper 80 potential, maybe close to 9 degrees, but I think for the most part we're generally going to be staying in those 80s for highs, but that's still above average for that latter part of April. Here's your 7-day forecast. Again, looking a lot better than what we saw last week. No real rain chance on Thursday, really only around 10%. But again, there's your warm up, getting back into the lower 80s by the time we get into the end of the week. That's a look at your latest forecast. Fred Gossage will be here with us live at 5 to give you another update on your 7-day forecast.